statewide proposal that seeks to allow for the regulated sale of cannabis to those over age 21 will appear on the November electoral ballot in Oregon. A spokesperson for the Oregon Secretary of State's office recently confirmed that proponents of the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act had collected sufficient signatures from registered voters to qualify the initiative for the 2012 ballot. If passed by voters this fall, ACTA, now known as Measure 80, would allow for the state-licensed production and retail sale of cannabis to adults. ACTA's campaign proponents estimate that retail sales of cannabis would yield approximately $140 million annually, 90% of which would be directed towards the state's general fund. The cultivation or possession of cannabis for non-commercial purposes would not be subject to state licensing or taxation. The measure also seeks to allow for the sale of cannabis for therapeutic purposes to qualified patients at cost and allows for the production of industrial hemp. Oregon voters in 1998 approved legislation by voter initiative legalizing the use, possession, and cultivation of cannabis for medicinal purposes. A June 2012 survey of 686 Oregon voters conducted by the firm Public Policy Polling reported that Oregonians were divided on the issue. 43% of respondents said they supported legalizing marijuana, while 46% of respondents opposed the idea. Voters in at least 4 other states, Colorado, Massachusetts, Montana, and Washington, will also be deciding on marijuana-specific ballot measures this November. The oral administration of cannabis extracts significantly reduces muscle stiffness in patients with multiple sclerosis, according to clinical trial data published in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery, and Psychiatry. Investigators reported that oral cannabis extracts were superior over placebo in the treatment of MS-associated muscle stiffness and pain. The authors concluded, treatment with standardized oil extract of cannabis sativa relieved muscle stiffness. The proportion of participants experiencing relief was almost twice as large in the cannabis extract group as in the placebo group. Effective pain relief is also achieved by cannabis extracts, especially in patients with a high baseline pain score. Our findings suggest that standardized cannabis extracts can be clinically useful in treating the highly complex phenomenon of spasticity in MS. In May, clinical trial data published in the Journal of the Canadian Medical Association reported that cannabis inhalation significantly mitigates spasticity and pain in patients with treatment-resistant multiple sclerosis. Members of the LA City Council on Tuesday voted 14-0 in favor of a municipal measure that seeks to ban the presence of storefront medical marijuana dispensaries. The city's mayor has 30 days to sign the ordinance into law. According to the Los Angeles Times, each of the 762 dispensaries that are now registered with the city will be sent a letter ordering them to close immediately. Those who do not comply may face legal action from the city. The ban excludes collectives that consist of 3 persons or fewer. Previous ordinances enacted by the LA City Council seeking to limit the establishment of dispensaries have been subject to litigation from cannabis advocates. The pending ban would appear to be in conflict with the State Court of Appeals ruling issued earlier this month, invalidating a 2010 Los Angeles County prohibition on dispensaries. That ruling, Los Angeles v. Alternative Cannabis Collective, held that the county's ban on all medical marijuana collectives or cooperatives cannot be deemed consistent with this article, that is, California's medical marijuana laws as enacted in the California Compassionate Use Act, aka Prop 215, and the MMP, Medical Marijuana Program Act, aka Senate Bill 420. That's it for This Week in Weed. Be sure to check back every Thursday for the latest stories in marijuana law reform.